What up, all my kings and queens? It's your girl Natasha Haycock, and I'm back with another live. And we're going to talk about political season, y'all. It's that time again. It's time to get out there and vote. Please vote your conscience. Please vote for humanity. Vote for everybody's right to exist here, whether you're black, white, gay, straight, whatever sexuality you identify with. And speaking of voting season, we're going to talk about Donald Trump. As you've seen in the title, we're going to talk about Donny. And the fact that he thinks only men work. Donny. Okay, I'm going to need you to come out of the 1950s. I'm going to need you to come out of the 1940s. Okay, I'm going to need you to come out of the roaring 20s. Okay, and understand that women work. Okay? It's not just men work, women work. Okay? Women also hold down the fort too. Okay? And we need a president that understands that women are also concerned about the economy. Or also concerned about jobs. Okay? We need a president that's going to make sure that women get paid more than 15 cents on the dollar. It's 2020, almost 2021, and we're still getting paid 15 cents on the dollar. Think about that for 1 second. This man still thinks that only men work. Okay, Donald Trump held a rally in which his appeal to suburban women was, "Oh, we're going to get your husbands back to work." I would have been like, what about us? Are you going to get women back to work? Because women have lost jobs too. It's not just the men who have lost in the era of the C virus. Women have lost a lot too. Okay, he doesn't understand that there are single parent households being ran by single mothers who depend on that one paycheck. Okay? And without it, our families crumble. The man is absolutely freaking tone deaf. But yet women continue to vote for him. His push for women voters to support him is, "Women, please like me." Where are your policies that are geared towards women? Like equal pay for equal work. Ensuring that women get access to gynecological health care. We need a president that's going to make sure that all women from all walks of life get access to jobs, access to proper health care. And a president that stops demonizing Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood doesn't only offer abortions, they also offer gynecological health care for women who cannot afford to go to the doctor. We need a president that understands what will happen to women if he demolishes the Universal Health Care Act that was set up by President Obama. And people also need to understand that Donald Trump inherited an amazing economy from the Obama administration. Okay? That wonderful economy that he likes to tout all the time, that was a gift from President Obama. And he should be thanking that man for it. Because now he's able to actually run on that amazing economy that people think that Donald Trump is solely responsible for. He's not. He really isn't. And for the people that want to blame President Obama for everything that happened during his administration, need to understand that if you wanted the Obama administration to succeed, you should have voted during the midterm elections. Okay? and elected officials that were going to support President Obama's policies. You want to say that Obama did nothing, but guess what? Obama's the one that got you universal health care. Okay, Donald Trump did not give you universal health care. President Obama and Vice President Joe Biden got you universal health care. Okay, because without President Obama, millions of people would not be able to afford healthcare insurance. Millions of people like me who have asthma, which is a pre-existing condition. People who have cancer. People, okay. So let's think about that for a second. That's why y'all gotta get out and vote. Okay, and for y'all that think that C-19 is some type of fake news, all right, let me tell you something. Is the whole world in on it? That's what I want to know. How is the C virus some type of democratic constructed fake news? Like, what did the Democrats call up the president of Italy and be like, yo, you know what would be so dope? If we faked a pandemic. Is that what happened? Okay. I want all of my Donald Trump conspiracy theorists to come into the chat right now and tell me how you think the C virus happened. I want to know. The floor is yours. I want to know how you think this worldwide pandemic happened. I want to know because Donald Trump hasn't told us why he thinks this is a hoax, why he thinks this virus doesn't exist, how he thinks the Democrats cooked it all up. Okay, like what did they do? Did Nancy Pelosi call up the president of China and was like, yo, like, you know, it'd be so cool if we said millions of people died from a virus that came from a wet market in Wuhan, China. Like, wouldn't that be amazing? I don't think so. Like, come on now. And I'm gonna need y'all to not let this man intimidate y'all into not voting. Okay, I'm gonna need y'all to not let this man scare y'all away from the polls this year. Okay, I'm gonna need you to get your neighbors, your aunties, your uncles, your big mamas. Okay, pack them all up and take them to the polls so they can vote. Because this reality show needs to be over with. I, for one, am absolutely tired of it. And this nonsense of not having a clear-cut plan for anything needs to stop. Whenever a reporter asks Donald Trump, does he have a plan for the economy? Does he have a plan to actually get rid of this virus? He mocks the doctors. He mocks Joe Biden for wearing a mask. It's not, but it's like you're mocking Joe Biden for wearing a mask, but you don't mock your wife. He doesn't mock Melania for wearing a mask. And every time you see Melania, she has a mask on. So how is it that your wife is more presidential than you? How is it that your wife is more level-headed than you? Because she's not out here mocking the virus. She's not out here not wearing a mask. She's not out here taking off the mask in an act of defiance. Like a disobedient child. Like, I don't condone corporal punishment. I don't condone corporal punishment, but somebody needs to get the strap to Donny. Donny needs his butt whooped. That's what Donny needs. Donny needs a whooping. Okay? I almost feel bad for Mike Pence, the fact that he had to babysit this man for 4 years. Almost. I almost feel bad for him that he had to babysit this man for 4 years. And it's like, dude, you want to babysit this man for 4 more years? 4 more years of cleaning after Donald Trump like a disobedient child that he is. He's not presidential. He makes America look like a joke. But his supporters want us to believe that he has the knowledge to run an entire country when millions of Americans have died from this. He has no plan for this. If he remains president, there's not going to be an end to this virus. We're going to continue to have to wear masks. We're going to have to continue to social distance. So if you want to stop social distancing, if you want to stop having to wear a mask everywhere you go, if you want your kids to have a normal childhood and actually be able to go to school, vote Joe Biden. If you want a president that's not going to call people who hold anti-Semitic views or racist and bigoted, sexist, homophobic views fine people, you need to vote. You can't say that you love black people and you love black culture, but you support a man who calls black athletes SOBs for simply standing up for their own people, the very people that support them, for supporting their families, their friends, and ensuring that their friends and their families and their whole entire communities have the right to walk down the street without being considered suspect. If you want a president that actually has a plan, as opposed to a conspiracy theory about how people are trying to tap into his campaigns and everybody's out to get me. Oh my goodness, the Democrats are out to get me. The Democrats are not out to get you. Oh my goodness. Every 2 seconds, this man is like, oh my goodness, the Dems are out to get me. Nancy Pelosi is out to get me. Nancy Pelosi is not out to get him, you ignoramus. This ignoramus thinks that Nancy Pelosi is like literally out to get him. I mean, even Laura Ingraham, who works for Fox News and is the world's biggest Trump supporter, during her interview with Donald Trump, in which once again he tried to say the Obama administration spied on his campaign. She was like, okay, hold up, you have no proof. I was shocked. I was utterly shocked when she was like, you have no proof. Sis was literally like, get me off the crazy train. Like, can somebody let me off this train? I would have been like that to him, like, look, can you let me off the crazy train? Like, is next stop sanity? Like anybody get me off this? That interview was like a runaway train. I like sis looked like she was screaming, get me out of here. Like if you saw the look on her face, like she was like, let me out. Somebody please get me out of here. But my petty ass would have left her there. My petty butt would have left her there. I mean, like, look, you getting what you asked for. You supported this man since he came down the escalator what was it, the Trump Hotel, talking about how Mexico doesn't send its finest when they send its citizens over here. You supported that racist rhetoric, okay? So I'm gonna let you sit in that. I would have been like, sis, this is what you wanted. This is what you thought was best for America. So I'm gonna let you sit here and deal with all the craziness that comes when dealing with Donald J. Trump. Okay, so early voting, I don't know if early voting is still going on in some states. I mean, it's almost time for the election. So what I'm going to need y'all to do is on election day, go out and vote. Please. It is imperative that you go out and vote. Okay? And something that I want people to understand is comprehensive gun control legislation does not mean that law-abiding citizens would not be able to have guns. Comprehensive gun control legislation keeps guns out of the hands of criminals, out of the hands of the mentally ill. Why would you want a person who is trying to hurt themselves and others have access to a gun? Okay, and that's just what people need to understand. Okay, when the Democrats say we're trying to push for comprehensive gun control reform, it means dangerous people will not be allowed to have guns. That's what we want. We want guns out of the hands of people that are intending to use them for harm. That's what that means. That's all it means. But Donald Trump has scared y'all to believe the Democrats are trying to take your guns. The Dems are trying to take your guns. The Democrats are not trying to take your guns. What they're trying to do is they are trying to keep dangerous people from having access to guns. If dangerous people continue to have access to guns, school shootings will continue to happen. Okay? Okay, so if you want your children to be able to go to school safely without having the teachers acting as bodyguards and having to learn how to use a gun, please vote. You want to be able to go to church, okay, or a synagogue or a mosque safely without the threats of an anti-Semite or a racist walking into your church and threatening you with bodily harm, please vote. Okay? And on a lighter note, we're going to talk about Nene Leakes' new show, The Read Session. Have y'all seen it yet? I have not seen it yet. I've seen clips of it on other YouTube channels, but I have not seen it yet. And I heard it's horrible. I heard it's horrible. I heard people are not here. I heard people are not here for it. Y'all are not here for Miss Nene Leakes' new show. And I definitely agree with a lot of people that it should be a mix of women and gay men and straight men, because straight men can read too. Okay? There are certain there are straight men that can read. Okay? That can read a person down. D.L. Hughley can read somebody down. Can give you an intelligent read. Okay? Comedians, like, part of a lot of comedians' routines is they will read a person down. Like, if you've ever seen a comedy special, The front row of a comedy special is not safe. Okay, if you ever go to a comedy show, don't sit up front. That is read central. You will get read for filth if you sit in the front of a comedy show. Okay, because they will come for your head. You will leave there without no edges. So, so I think that she should have definitely had a panel, like a mix of like women, gay men, and straight male comedians, because it would have been funny. Like nobody's funnier to me in terms of reading someone than a straight male comedian. Like she should have got like God. She should have got Godfrey definitely, because Godfrey can read a person down, and she could have, and he could have, especially when he reads people in his Nigerian accent. It's hilarious. You could have got DL Hughley definitely. Okay, because that would have been hilarious. So she could have got like celebrities, like a mix of like celebrities and like unknown faces to kind of balance it out a little bit. Okay, because Hollywood has a tendency to recycle people. Like if you ever watch like television shows, you've ever seen like certain movies and things like that, Hollywood has a tendency to like recycle like the same faces, especially in the 90s. The 90s, Hollywood had a huge tendency to just recycle people. Even if they weren't talented, they would just put them in movies because they were they were cute. Just to have a pretty face in there. Just to give you some eye candy. But anyways, just to like give it a good mix, I feel instead of having just a panel of unknowns, because it's Nene Leakes. Like she has a lot of star power. Out of all the girls on Real Housewives of Atlanta, other than Candy, she has a lot of star power. Like I like Candy. Like I have to agree with Jason. Like I like Candy Burris' show that she has on YouTube. Like, cause she does really good interviews. I mean, but then again, like mostly she interviews her friends, like the Brat. When she was interviewing the Brat, I felt like I was in the kitchen at the kitchen table with them, and we were just all kikiing together. When the Brat was talking about her coming out and when she was dating um Allen Iverson, it felt like a really intimate setting and like a really intimate interview, and you really got to know her. Like you felt like it felt like you were talking to Shantae in that moment. Like you weren't looking at her as the Brat. You were looking at her as Shantae. And I feel like Nene could do something like that. But I think she had the right idea, trying to capitalize off the fact that she knows how to read people. But the way she went about it was a little low budget and a little just yeah, a little seasonless. It was a little. It lacked some flavor for Nene Leakes. I'm like I was expecting like a well seasoned like read session, and then when she tried to come at Nene Leakes, when she tried to come at Wendy with the whole I thought a high B said something, like you could if you gonna come at Wendy, come at her a little bit more with just I thought a high B says like your Nene Leakes. That just proves what everybody is saying that about the new Nene, that her reads are now pre-written for her. Like now that she has her own show, I kind of am starting to believe what other YouTubers are saying about her in terms of her reads are pre-written. Like she has gay men writing her reads for her. Because that little bit that I watched just wasn't funny. It wasn't the Nini I expected. So we can talk about this whole Birkin bag conversation that was started by Sweetie. I know people are sick and tired of hearing about this whole Birkin bag thing. I just now started hearing about this, but I'm just gonna put my little 2 cents in on the whole topic. Um, I think she's pushing the wrong values. Like you're like she, I think Sweetie understands that young girls look up to her. And you're telling these babies, like, oh, the only thing that matters in terms of a man is if he can buy you a Birkin bag or if he can buy you some Gucci or some Prada. It doesn't matter if a man has all the money in the world. If he doesn't treat you like a human being, he's not worth it. If he's a millionaire and he's smacking the crap out of you, the fact that he can buy you a Birkin bag, that's null and void. If he's cheating on you, sis, that's null and void. It doesn't matter if he can buy you a Birkin bag. If he's demeaning you, if he's disrespecting you, if he's cheating on you, if he's putting his hands on you and treating you like you're less than a human being, the fact that this man can buy you $1,000 bag, I don't know how much Birkin bags cost. I'm assuming it's like thousands of dollars. The fact that he can purchase you that bag cancels it. Like that's null and void. Like that, the fact that he puts his hands on you, that Birkin bag, the fact that he can buy you a Birkin bag, that cancels out that ability to buy that bag. If he's cheating on you, he got 50 11 running around getting every quote unquote bad chick pregnant, or he's running around these streets getting every single, you know, everybody's baby mama, every rapper, every singer pregnant, and he's cheating on you, whether it's in private or in public. The fact that he can buy you a Birkin doesn't matter. Like you should never like a man's money should never come before the way he treats you. Yeah, a man having money and the ability to provide you with financial stability is a plus. It's not the only thing. You have women who actually will are willing to stay with men that abuse them just because they can provide them with a nice house or a nice car. And that's what that gives me right there. That she's willing to stay with a man who will abuse, like she's willing to stay with that, just that tells me one thing, that she's willing to stay with a man that abuses her. And I'm not saying that Quavo puts hands on her because he doesn't seem like that guy. But I'm saying, like, if her and Quavo don't work out, I'm scared for sis because she might end up with a dude that abuses her, and she might stay with him because homeboy can buy her a Birkin. And that's not the right image you want to put out there. You have all these things going for you, like your icy university and all those other things that you're trying to put out there and promoting, teaching these girls how to be a bad chick in terms of, getting your education, becoming a boss, all these positive things, and then you want to throw something negative in there by preaching materialism in a relationship. That's the most one of the most dangerous things you can teach a young girl, because you can basically, you're telling them no matter what homie does, whether he's beating you or cheating on you, if he buys you a Birkin, that makes it okay. I love Sweetie. I love her music. I know a lot of people saying, well, she's not exactly the best lyricist. But a lot of these rappers out here aren't. You got a lot of these male rappers out here that wouldn't even know what the word lyric was if you showed it to them in a dictionary. But a lot of people love them. At the end of the day, she's really positive person. But when you promote values like that, that completely cancels that out. Yeah, it's good to have a man that can provide for you, that can help you out financially, instead of a dude that expects you to do everything. Okay? Instead of one of these delusional dudes that don't bring nothing to the table except some good eggplant, let's put it that way. But wants you to have your own car, your own crib, have, A1 credit, be a bad chick. But all they can do is put it down in the bedroom and think that's enough. So it's good to have a dude that can provide. But don't let that be the only thing. Because teaching a girl that money is the only thing that matters in a relationship is a dangerous thing. Because she's basically telling these girls, he can do everything under the sun to you, but as long as he has money, that's okay. All right, so we're gonna talk about Danny Lay's new single, Monique. I want to know if y'all here for that or not. I saw in the comment section of the Shade Room where they were talking about her performance. I think it was at like a radio station or something. She was doing a live performance in her house of her song Monique, and people were like, well, what is she talking about, Monique? Like, is she talking about Miss Parker, Monique? Like, what is she talking about? And I was confused too, because like Monique's no longer a big girl. And she talking about her pockets, Monique. Like sis, Monique's no longer a big girl, right? Like sis is on her zen. Like she's on her veggie diet. Looking good. Okay. Sis is out here giving us youngins something to aspire to. Okay. Shoot, I might go that way, like start eating like Monique now. But maybe. I don't know. Them sweet potato fries. No, I don't know. I like I like regular French fries too much. But to me, I think Monique is a bop. I like the song. And Danny's not exactly a vocalist for me. I mean, what category would you put her in? Would you say that she's a rapper? Would you say she's an R&B singer? I mean, what category would y'all put her in, honestly? All right, so we're gonna talk about our girl Tasha K and her shading Storm Monroe, that interview that she did with Jaguar White. Like people were saying like she was shading Jaguar, she was coming at her crazy. Like she was definitely looking at her like the crazy auntie. I don't know if y'all seen the Tasha K interview with Jaguar White, but y'all need to go watch it. Because to me it just seemed like sis was looking at her like the crazy auntie that you only see during funerals and barbecues. Like every time Jag just said anything, she was just like, uh-huh, okay, sure. Like, yeah, whatever you say. Like how you talk to how you like she's talking to her like you talk to a crazy person. And Jag was definitely picking up on that. And to me, it was just really disrespectful. Yeah, I loved Tasha K, but the way she handled Jaguar Wright was just really disrespectful. And she had the right to get upset. She's like, you calling me crazy? You talking to me like I'm crazy? Like I'm just not feeling this at all. And she's like, I can easily tell you a lot of the stuff people say about you, and everybody was telling me not to sit down with you, you know, because of how you would make me look. And she should have listened to him. Jack should have listened to those people that told her, don't sit down with Tasha K. Man, I love Tasha K. I love her energy that she brings to her interviews, like that raw realness, just that real country girl realness that she brings to everything. But the way she treated Jag was so disrespectful. And Tasha even said it herself, like she's a RAPE survivor. So being a survivor of that, you should have known how to handle Jaguar. Like when I say you know how to handle her, meaning you should have known how to speak to her. Like you was getting real evasive, like asking her questions about her hymen and all of those other different things, and asking her about her mental health. Like, I love Jag's interview with Storm Monroe because he wasn't asking her those types of questions. Like, he knew her stories, or he knew what questions to stay away from. Like, I like a lot of these YouTube interviews, but some of them are just unprofessional. It's like you can tell these people haven't gone to journalism school. Like, I've never been to journalism school either, but I know, like, I would know what questions to stay away from. Like, asking a person that is a survivor of that type of thing, you know, oh, how many guys, attacked you, or how many guys, like she basically just had her reliving her trauma. Like, as a survivor of something like that, you know what questions would trigger a person, and you can look at Jag's eyes and see that she was basically triggered by that. And you can see it in her face that she was reliving her trauma right there. And it's like, can we, and I felt uncomfortable. I felt uncomfortable for her. I was just like, next question, Tasha. I'm just looking at that like, next question, Tasha. Next question. Please, just let's move on to something else. Let's talk about her music. Let's talk about like the projects that she's working on. I mean, and it just seemed like she was going after Jaguar, like for like in defense of Alicia, like for Alicia Keys, because we know Alicia, she's not going to go after someone. Alicia Keys is Miss Peace, Love, and Chicken Grease. She's not going to go after someone like that. She's not. Like, you can't imagine Alicia Keys beefing with anybody. And the fact that Tasha was like, well, Mashonda said that Alicia never stole her husband. If you ever seen an old episode of like Love and Hip Hop New York, like the first season of Love and Hip Hop New York, in which Mashonda, who is, if y'all don't know, Swizz Beatz's ex-wife, who's also a '90s R&B singer, went on to the show and said that Alicia stole her husband and broke up her family. So why would she go on national television and say that Alicia stole her husband and then backtrack it? That's going to be on TV and on the internet for years to come. Like, go look up like the first season of Love and Hip Hop New York. It's right here on YouTube, and you can find the episode where Mashonda tells the heartbreaking story of how her family broke up. I almost cried. I almost cried. Like, I felt so bad for her. I felt for her dearly because, like, as a woman, how can you not? Like she probably did backtrack and say that Alicia didn't steal her husband because Swiss probably told her not, probably told her to. After that episode aired, Swiss probably called her up and said, "Hey, you need to take that back. You need to go to the blogs, you need to go to whatever magazine, and you need to take that back. Because my wife's career is not over." And Alicia's career was ruined because of that. There was a time period where Alicia was virtually blackballed because of that episode of Love and Hip Hop New York. And because she was saying that Alicia stole Swiss Beats from her. We all know, like, all my millennials, I know y'all know the episode that I'm talking about. Like I said, I love Tasha K. I respect what she does, but that interview with Jaguar was messed up. It just looked like a person that had no media training answering a bunch of questions. And I felt so bad for Jag because I could see that she was triggered by a lot of it. That Tasha was basically just coming at her like, "I don't believe you." And Jag could sense it. She could sense that she was coming at her like, "I don't believe you." Like, she just came at her like "You're crazy." Like, and you could see that look in Tasha's eyes when she was like asking her a question, when Jag was answering the questions, like she was talking to the crazy auntie at the barbecue. She was looking at her like she was talking to the crazy auntie at the barbecue. Like, she was literally talking to a crazy person, and she was just trying not to set her off because she was afraid she might be attacked. And it's like, sis, y'all are video conferencing. She can't attack you through a screen. You can tell, that she didn't believe her. And when she did her let's uncover, did the live stream where she said, like, let's unpack the lies, you can tell she wasn't genuinely sorry about that apology live she did, because before that she did a live where she apologized to Jaguar. And she did it because she was losing followers. Because I watched that interview with Jaguar Wright where people were literally, as the live was going on, was unsubscribing from Tasha K. They were literally like unsubscribing. I saw somebody say, "I'm unsubscribing to Tasha K, subscribing to Jaguar. I respect realness. Black queens, respect." Just right as the live was happening. And
Americans have a stark choice to make. When it comes to the facts on the virus right now, the facts are not on Trump's side. President proclaimed, right?
people are saying that her and Storm Monroe are having some issues. And I'm like, I thought Storm was like her little brother. Like, I'm seeing all around YouTube that her and Storm Monroe are having issues. I'm like, is Storm like her little brother? Like, ain't Storm practically like her new baby's godfather or something like that? Like, they were like family, like close. Like, every single time. Like, I'm a huge fan of Storm Monroe. I'm subscribed to his channel, and every single live, every single like video he gives Tasha her props, and I respect him for that. Because she definitely elevated Storm's career. She, like, not, and it wasn't, I'm not just saying that like he didn't do it, like his career didn't get elevated not just because he has talent. He's very talented. He's funny, the way he reads, like he gives you the best of both worlds. Like, he's a straight man who can read you down like a gay man. Like, you've never seen that like on YouTube before. Like, a lot of the dudes that can read are usually gay. Like I've seen a lot of like rumors that Storm was gay because of the way the man reads. Like he reads these celebrities down. Like so much, like so well and so articulately to the point where people are making YouTube videos saying that he's gay because of how well he reads. Like nobody's ever seen a straight man read like that before. And that's what I'm saying. Nene Leaks definitely needs that. She needs Storm Monroe. Like Nene needs that. She needs a Storm Monroe. Okay, that's what she needs to do. She needs to link up, like do like some shows with Storm, because that's what she needs. She needs a straight man that can read like a gay man. Okay, like D.L. Hughley, he's a straight man that can read like a gay man. Okay, and Godfrey, same thing. Straight man reads like a gay man. Okay, there are straight black men that read like gay men. Storm, definitely one of them. He's amazing. Go check out his channel. That's STORM Monroe. Okay, type that in. Okay, and go check it out. You'll definitely see what I'm talking about. The man is hilarious. And especially like he has his own like little shtick with the whole doctor thing. It's incredible. But anyways, like I heard they're having issues. And I was like, hold up. Tasha K and Storm are beefing? Like I heard like I was watching and Armand Wiggins live where he was talking about how Tasha was shading Storm. And I'm like, are you serious? Like that's her boy. Like why would she be shading him for? Like he's never disrespected her at all. Like I said, every single live, every single video that he's ever done, he's always given her flowers for what she's done for him and for his platform. So I don't get it. So anyways, um, better not. So anyways, we're gonna talk about Lovecraft Country. I haven't seen it. I want to see it. I want to watch it on demand. I've never seen the first season. I was so upset. I was so happy that it's from the creators of Underground. When WGN canceled Underground, I was pissed. I was like, really? Underground was amazing. It was definitely like a spin on the typical slave narrative. Like I love the fact that the slaves were outsmarted the masters, and like I love the fact that the women, like the enslaved African women, just had control over their own sexuality. Okay, that they weren't being used and abused, that they were actually empowered. And it's like, why wouldn't people want stories like that being told on television? It's like people are so used to the typical slave narrative of slave women being used and abused, the black men being abused and beaten down and torn apart, and families being torn apart. But instead, you had slaves who were taking charge of their own life and their own destiny. Who doesn't want stories like that? And yes, you had, the abolitionists that were assisting, but the story wasn't completely about them. The story, the main focus was about the slaves and them taking back control of their own lives, taking control of their own destiny. And that's what I loved. Like every week, I was like watching every single Wednesday. Like it was hard. Like I had like it was such a hard choice between watching Empire, watching Underground. I was like, oh my goodness, I don't want to watch this Empire because like when Empire first came on, it was so good. It was good. Like you had a mix of everything. Then the story was raw. It was gritty. I loved Cookie. Oh my goodness, Cookie. Her reads were epic. Taraji definitely brought DC to Cookie. She brought that DC swag to Cookie. She brought the DMV to New York. I mean, like to New York. Like she put that rawness, that grittiness that I grew up with people from DC, and she put it in Cookie. Like a lot of like the things she would say, oh my god, I was like, oh my god, that's so DC. That is so DMV. Like you just loved. Like she like a lot of those like gritty roles that she plays, she brings the DMV. Like I'm like, oh my goodness, like that reminds me of the people that I grew up with, like the people that I grew up around, and like that just like having no cut cards. Like she reminds me of a friend of mine. That's just like that. Like I grew up like around a lot of Cookie lines. Those types of women that have no cut cards. That are just like I say what I feel, I say what I think, I mean what I say type of women. And it just like broke my heart when like Empire got canceled. I was like, speaking of Empire getting canceled, we gonna talk about Jussie Smollett. We gonna talk about my husband in my head, Jussie Smollett, and him still holding on to his innocence, and him thinking that the Chicago PD is just after him. What y'all think? What y'all think? Y'all think Jesse's innocent? Because he's still maintaining his innocence. He's still holding on to the story that, two Donald Trump supporters attacked him in sub-zero weather. He was just going to go get him a foot long. He was gonna go get him a foot long. He's like, I was just gonna go get me a foot long. Like, I was just gonna go like at 2 a.m. though. Like, I'm from the suburbs, so I know Subway is not open at like freaking 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, I know where I'm from, Subway is not open at 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay, like you're not gonna get you a $5 footlong at 2 o'clock in the morning where I'm from. You're not. You could get you a taco from Taco Bell at 2 o'clock in the morning, but you're not gonna get you a $5 footlong. No. Like, unless that really was code for something, because people are saying the streets are talking, and they're saying that he was looking for his Tinder date, and he was out there at 5 o'clock in the morning, sub-zero temperatures in the middle of a nor'easter, in the middle of a freaking like what is it, a nor'easter? No, in the middle of a freaking snowstorm, looking for a footlong. I mean, boom. You couldn't have just told your Tinder date to like meet you in the lobby of the apartment that you were staying in. Like he was really that hungry for a footlong that she was willing to brave sub-zero temperatures to go out and get it. Like you couldn't just texted your Tinder date and told him to like meet you downstairs in the lobby. Like I would have like if I had a date, I would have just texted them and be like, "Hey boo, meet me in the lobby. Wear something sexy." And just could have let it be that, but instead this man is going to prison and still fixing prison time, and I was like, that just makes the whole for the that takes the for the D challenge to a whole nother level. Like y'all don't understand. That takes the for the D challenge to a whole new level. I'm gonna go to prison for the D. I'll fake hate crimes for the D. Like, really, like you faking hate crimes for the D, Jesse. You faking hate crimes for the D. I'm gonna fake hate crimes for the D. I'm gonna go to prison for the D. I had to take y'all back to the for the D challenge because that is just what that reminds me of. Like, I'm gonna go to prison for the D. I'm a fake hate crimes for the D. Like, you faking hate crimes for the D, Jesse? Is that what we're doing now? We're faking hate crimes for the D. We're faking a whole entire freaking hate crimes for it. I mean, dude. He was faking hate crimes for the Nigerian D. I mean, African men are fine, but they ain't worth going to prison over. Mm, yeah, they're not worth going to prison like that. But I've seen the Scenario brothers, and like they're cute, but it's like prison. I'm not going to prison for that. I'd be scared. Like no, I mean, it's like it's like, bruh, you ain't never heard of Pornhub? You know, just relaxing at the crib, like you couldn't just kick to that, you know, your apartment, watch some Pornhub, and like cancel your date. You gonna just, you know, whacked one off and while watching. I don't know any names of any gay porn stars, but you could have just whacked one off, you know, watched some hot gay porn and just, you know, had a little date with yourself. You had to fake a whole entire hate crime because, you know, Lee Daniels was writing you off the show. I mean, he did all of that because Lee Daniels was writing. I also heard he did all of that because Lee Daniels was allegedly writing him off the show. You could have got another job. I mean, you could have asked Journey to hook you up. Be like, hey sis, can you get me a job on whatever project you're working on? That's what I would have done. Like, hey, I would have asked. I mean, his sister got him a guest starring appearance on Underground. The only she could have also done was got him a guest appearance on another show too, or got him like a reoccurring role on one of her projects that she was working on. I mean, he was amazing on Underground. Okay, he was amazing. He was absolutely amazing on Underground. Like I really believed his performance. And that's the one thing about Jesse. Like he's an amazing singer. He's an amazing actor. He could have found another acting job. Hell, he had his album coming out. Like y'all didn't know about the album? The album is amazing. Hurt People. That album is amazing. I think that's what that album's called. I don't know, but it is amazing. Like that was like the revival of like real R&B for me. That if Empire wasn't working out, he could have just put his focus into the album. It's like, dude, you could have just put your focus into your music. If acting wasn't working out. He had like I mean songs like he has like songs like "Ha Ha I Love You." Go check that out. The songs like his songs like Hurt People," "Ha Ha I Love You," um, Catch Your Eye" with Swizz Beats. That is my favorite off the album. Like what else? Those are the only three songs I know. Catch Your Eye, Hurt People, and "Ha Ha I Love You." I love those. I'm not gonna sing "Ha Ha." I'm not gonna sing any of those songs for you because I don't want to ruin it for you. But just go listen to his vocals are absolutely incredible. Okay, like the first time I heard this man sing, I was like, "Oh my goodness, he is going to be a double threat, and he can dance." Like if you've seen him on Empire, like the way he moves on stage is incredible. Like he had that going for him. Like, if you were getting written off Empire, you could have just auditioned for another show. You really had to ruin your entire career by faking a hate crime. Like, where was your Journey's ass? Is what I want to know when he was doing the stupid shit. Where was Journey? Is what I want to know. In case you don't know, Journey Smollett is his little sister. Yeah, that's his little sister. Where's his little sister? Where to talk some sense into him and be like, boy, you are going to ruin your damn career. Where was his brother Jake? Where was his parents? Where was his mama? Okay, black mamas, we don't play that shit. Where was his mama at? I'm surprised his mama didn't whoop his behind about this, about lying about some damn hate crimes. Talk. He had an amazing career ahead of him, and for him to like that just pisses me off because this guy is such an incredible raw talent. Like he is a triple threat. He sings, he acts, he dances. Like the dude is amazing. Anyways, so we're gonna talk about these versus battles. Now that we're easing out of quarantine, like, do y'all still want to see a versus battle? Because Busta Rhymes had a couple of things to say about T.I. declining to do a versus battle with him and giving him LL's phone number. As if Busta doesn't already have LL Cool J's phone number already. I mean, they're from like around the same time period. Like their careers started off like around the same time. So of course Bus has LL's phone number. I mean, hello. And saying that Bus, will be more Busta Rhymes will be more suitable to do a versus battle with LL Cool J. I like Busta Rhymes said he want the smoke. He want that ass whooping. Busta Rhymes said T.I. didn't want that ass whooping. He said he was gonna bust T.I.'s ass. And I wanted to see it. I wanted to see it. As much as I am such a huge T.I. fan, okay, he's definitely the king of the South for a reason. Like, I grew up listening to trap music, and I may not look like I love trap music, but I love me some trap music. Okay, T.I., Bone Crusher, like Young Jeezy, like that's the stuff that I grew up on. So to just hear like all the hits from like Rubber Band Man on would have made my life. But Busta Rhymes has stronger hits. That would have been an easy win for him. Like him doing a versus battle with Busta Rhymes would have proven that he wasn't scared. But anyways, my battery is about to die. So peace.